Hello, 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 everyone. Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino, who should be on this afternoon for our live stream. So please tune in for that one. How is everyone doing? Fine Tuesday morning, day after Memorial Day, back to a shortened trading week. Let's see. Good morning, Sashi. Good morning, Wavy. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Davey. Good morning, all those other people who don't say anything in the chat, but I see you watching. All right, if you are new here and you want to know when we do our live streams, please do subscribe and ring that bell. Longer term subscribers, please hit that like button and leave some comments like you've been doing. I really want to thank the people who come back to leave the comments after, and I know some more of you can do it, so please take that 30 seconds and leave a comment. Again, we're getting new subscribers. We're reaching out to more people to try to help them during these challenging market conditions. So where do we sit? All right, we got good morning, Andrew. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Options 22, happy last day of May. Correct, May 31st, last trading day of the month. Could be an interesting day. Good morning, Lauren. Thank you for being here, everybody. We just had the housing price index come out, and this is back from March. No surprise. I mean, coming in even hotter than normal, and if you've been following housing, but this is, again, 2 months ago. So, it's looks like it's cooling off a bit, at least stabilizing, and there's some areas that are having some cutbacks. But this wasn't really the main thing that's going to affect the market today. Going to keep watching Chicago PMI to see if that comes in lower than expected, and that's in about just over 30 minutes away. Consumer confidence, that's a biggie at 9 Central, so pay attention to that. Going to see if that misses the forecast. Now they're expecting it to drop, but I'm looking to see if it drops more. And then Fed manufacturing index also, that's minor, but it could definitely move the market. Not much changing. We're still in negative gamma, and FOMC is still 50 basis point projected. Now we don't shift to positive gamma until 42.59. So please be aware of that. What am I watching right now? Nothing much on the earnings this morning, but keep in mind for after we have Salesforce, HP are the couple biggies. So that's what I'm watching after close. Getting this pullback move. Remember, spiking on this other double is triggered, hitting the first target, and now pulling back. Not much of a surprise there with the cycles on the daily at the top. So we could definitely see 2 to 3 days choppy to down. Remember, weekly cycles, as I covered, are at the bottom and turning up, but not yet overdone. We just poked in the weekly rotation zone, but we could easily hit the other side before a big topping pattern comes in. Then I'm expecting us to retest the low area. What am I watching off the open? We have a pretty standard pullback right here. Pretty standard channel pullback. So what would it need me to get bullish? It really needs about 41.57 end of month, so we could be a little choppy today unless we get some major momentum bars. I'd be more surprised to see momentum bars the upside, but the downside, if we do break lower and pull back, we have a clear path move with very little stopping points. You see here? So right now we're roughly pausing at the one stopping point, but if we roll down with momentum, we could easily retrace. We could easily hit the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone and then even come down to the next breakout area, which was a 4,065 if we get the bigger pullback. All right, which would take us back to the area where we might get the first cross of the daily rotation zone and then the next resumptive move higher. What changes it into, again, bearish mode? That wouldn't be until we get below 39.56 on a closing basis. So that's a long way off because we don't have a major topping pattern just yet. This is just some minor divergences up here with a pretty ordinary pullback. Now, again, if we start breaking above, see this, we had support, resistance, then lower retest of that resistance area. So I really need, again, to get it above about 41.56 before I get bullish intraday to really confirm we are turning up out of this. Let's see who else is here. Good morning, Eric. Thank you for being here. Yep, Powell Biden Yellen meeting at 11, or is that 1:15? 1:15 Eastern, yes. Now, I did see that Yellen is joining it also. Hey, Waka Waka. How's life in the cardboard box? Let's see where we sit. So that's where I'm really watching. We got the pullback with the 4-hour cycles, but we could easily see an upturn and then roll over again before we put in that daily bottom. Remember, the cycles on the longer term matter more than the shorter term. And we did trigger, it's why I can't get super bearish yet, because we did trigger another pattern which has, upper 60s to low 70s% of probabilities of running through at least the second target on a pullback. And this pullback would not come anywhere close to invalidating that, even with a bigger pullback. NASDAQ, a little weaker, but still coming in with the channel pullback so far. NASDAQ, I really need to get the move back above about this 12,725 area and then watch for the breakout of the channel. Again, same thing here. We have the clear path move with only one pausing area, and we've already testing that area right now. So I am very aware of that if we do pull back. If we start, the next area I will watch is the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone, about right in front of 12,500. And then if we break through there, I'm at 12,323. Same thing, 4-hour cycles at the bottom, but daily cycles at the top. It looks to be rolling over. So again, we could get a couple days of pause sideways to a bigger pullback move, and weekly cycles at the bottom turning up but not overdone, tapping the first tap of the weekly rotation zone. Dow, again, everything's pretty much trading in the same patterns. Pullback here, a little choppier move, but area I'm keeping an eye on with the Dow is back to about 32,800. Then if we drop below 32,800, my major support area is coming in about 32,667. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Again, the Dow did not trigger a double pattern, so we don't have that to rely on, but from the other two, S&P and NASDAQ did. And also, speaking of double patterns, we had the Russell also trigger one, not yet to the first target. So that has a probability after this pullback of another push higher. Levels I'm watching in Russell, 1861, then major support coming in at 1845. Again, you can draw a channel here and watch. Key area for me to confirm some Russell strength, it'd have to really start getting above about 1887 again. DAX pulling back, but statistically still going to watch for another push higher because we did close above the 62.5. So we should, from a probability standpoint, at least test 14,734 after this pullback. Major support in the DAX coming in 14,238. Crude breaking to the upside, already hit the next harmonic. I'm going to watch, even if we get a slight pause, we should definitely target 120, being prepared with that pullback, then that pause bar we talked about last week, the breakout above this little ledge, and now we've got the follow through. So again, still upside. Crude plays getting a little toppy on the daily, so we could somewhere up here get a short-term topping pattern. Looks like we might be forming one right now. It's a little sloppy. I'm just going to throw the double targets on to give me an idea. I'll do some more analysis on that, but then I'd really start watching 117.50, and even if it pulled back the whole way, look, it's right in the 4-hour rotation zone, full target 116.91, and that is pretty sloppy. I might adjust it to a horizontal channel with that, but I'll have to do a little more analysis at that. With that, gold just pausing, so I'm going to watch. We've had this run up. If we do break down, by the way, in gold, here's what I'm keeping an eye on. It's easier to see on the 4-hour chart. We have this little mini double top. We had a bigger double top that's invalid now with this other push higher. That's why it's off the charts. But if you start getting some momentum below 1866, I'm just watching. We have this gap fill, and the first target is about 1857 and then 1854. So that would just be a minor corrective pullback before I get bullish. We've reacted to this 50 exponential, so going to watch for another push higher, especially with the inflation numbers. Let's just jump straight to notes. Again, coming back down, we've triggered this larger term pattern, but just trying to kiss the neckline goodbye. Daily cycles trying to roll over, so we could see another couple days choppy to sideways, and still watching for the upwards price action. Also, remember, we just got into that weekly rotation zone, pulling back now, but the only way I can get bearish is if we start getting below 118.19. Again, everything else will just be a corrective pullback within a larger potential bottoming pattern. Dollar index, now I'm watching for the reversal play, moving back up. By the way, this doubles off the table. This double was off the table because of this extended pullback. And this wasn't quite a double, but we've hit the full targets from this head and shoulders top. Remember, this head and shoulders top, full targets are reached. So now we're getting a corrective rally, and cycles on the daily overdone, trying to turn up. So I would not be surprised to see a small multi-day rally back up in the first test into the rotation zone. Now, what am I going to key off of? Oops, I hit the wrong thing off the charts. My area right now is a return to the 103.19 to 103.63. Can't get really bullish again until you get that close above 103.60, 365 area. So we could easily come up here, top in there, and then continue the rollover play. VIX just up slightly. I'm going to be watching to see if it really gets some momentum above 28. To see there. If it just hangs out in this area, then we could be in for a choppy day versus a directional play day. Where do we sit? It's a bit cold and wet, raining here in UK. Surprise, surprise. I don't think that's a surprise, Waka Waka. I would not be surprised with cold and wet and rainy. VIX almost 28. Hey, I didn't see that comment, and yeah, VIX almost 28, but it could hang out right there on the open. Tesla looks like a pre-market gap up. Going to keep an eye on that because it could fill the gap with the NASDAQ unless the NASDAQ gets strong to break even, back to even. Now, Tesla, I'm really watching over the next few days for it to return to 786 to 828 area for another potential rollover play back down. Before that, I will be watching for that little gap play on the open. And if we had the bigger rollover, remember, there still is a gap here to the downside. But Tesla's daily cycles not yet to the top, and weekly cycles trying to turn up, so it could have some definitely more upside. And you see here, we could easily connect with that weekly rotation zone. Also, I know there's the Q players in here. Even with this little gap down, we've triggered this double. So after we get this pause, I'm watching then for the rotation back up to at least target 317. And then possibly the 322 area would be my preferred short-term plays for that. Those would be those targets. Remember, even if it rolls back and does fill this gap with a little bigger correction, you're still nowhere near tipping it into bearish mode again. Where would be the bearish line in the sand? The bearish line in the sand is all the way back on a closing basis below about 291.10. So this is just would be a standard pullback with the cycles at the top on the daily, but you still have them turning up on the weekly, and you can easily pull back, then resume the pattern back up to trigger the double. To confirm the next first and second targets. So just position with the cycles at the top. Again, we could have that pause, pullback pause, and then resume the move. So take that in consideration, especially if you're using options in the short term to play those patterns. You are welcome. Thank you for being here, Josh. Again, I put out the weekend videos not only the live stream, but the weekly sector overview. So keep that in mind. We still have some doubles that could play out to the upside in the sectors. And those are still valid even if we get a couple-day pullback in the broad markets. So then watch for those to resume, and those would be the sectors I'd be looking for stock plays. With that, I think that's about it. We can check in the spiders too. Spiders, again, also triggered that double. So even with a pullback in the spiders, slight gap down today, even if it filled the gap, nowhere near the reversal pattern at 393.25 roughly. So ordinary 2 to 3 day pullback, then I'd really watch for the spiders. Again, market's pretty much the same place. We're a little overbought. Cycles at the top on the daily, but still got pretty much room to run on the weekly. And you can see finishing out this pattern could just take us back into the weekly rotation zone. So pretty much the same thing as the Qs. Targets I'd be really focused on about 420 and 426. All right. I think that should give everybody a really good game plan for not just today, but for the next couple days. And I'm not going anywhere. We'll revise it with new information as it comes out. Remember, end of month can get some little wacky moves with some end of month balancing. And that I'm also talking tomorrow into June with June 1st. So we could see some interesting moves today and tomorrow. So keep that in mind if you're playing stuff from the short term, especially with stop placement. All right. And this is where, we might get a little choppy and a little more volatile with some quick reversal moves, especially towards this afternoon. So you got to take that into account and try not to get whipsawed. You are welcome, Eric. I will wrap it up for now. We got about 8 minutes to the open. And remember that consumer confidence number coming out in about 40 minutes. Pay attention to that. That could definitely have an impact on the short-term trading direction this morning. Again, please come back, leave some comments after this video is over to try to get it wider circulation and help more people with their trading and investing. Thank you, Wavy. I will talk to everyone later. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.